Yeah, we'll do a countdown. We have about 20 seconds.
20 seconds, okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
So Emerson, I'll hit record. Emerson, if you hit the streaming button, and I'll count it down. And
Welcome, Cheryl, to Life Without a Witness with Cheryl Abram.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cheryl Abram, and thank you once again for sitting with me for Life Without a Witness. For those of you who haven't been here before, this channel is about me. Well, what I like to talk about is what it's like now, okay? Now that I've come to see something different, now that I've been able to tell myself the truth and continue to tell myself the truth, what is life like for me? And one of the major things that I notice is that I no longer live a life where I'm trying not to die. That's what I was doing. Like for years and years and years, everything I did was to try not to die. I even had a whole story about how, you know, how the body would die, but I, Cheryl, would remain alive in eternity. A whole story, okay, about that, right? Trying not to die, right? Which was a very, very fearful existence. Absolutely 100% chock full of fear. Okay, everything had that, you know, that little grain of fear in it. Whether it was I was asking a question as simple as, "What time is it?" You know, or you know, how old are you? Just in regular conversation, right? That fear was there, right? And in questions, which became very interesting to me, right, is that every question we ask has something that we know for sure in it. Like we can't ask a question without, you know, knowing something for sure. All right. And that thing that's in the question that we know for sure, that was like an anchor for me, right? Like so a question really wasn't a question. It was a validation of an answer I already had, basically. Okay. And yeah, so being able to let that kind of stuff go has just been, it's been really great, you know. And now that doesn't mean I don't get angry and frustrated and, you know, my kids don't get on my nerves and, you know, it's all happy stuff or whatever all the time. You know, that's not it at all. But it's like, so let me tell you for example, right? I read, like when I first started reading about non-duality, you know, trying to figure out what it was, I discovered a man, his name was Ken Wapnick, right? And he was talking about some crazy stuff, you know, that Course in Miracles book, which was weird as hell. I'm telling you, just weird. Okay. However, you know, there was something, I think it was a paper or audio, something like that. But he was talking to these two ladies about losing weight. They were overweight and they were trying to lose weight and they were trying to figure out, well, what's happening here? Like, it seems like I'm trying to lose weight, but what's really going on? Okay. So Ken was talking them through that and all that. So towards the end of it, ultimately what he said was everything you're doing is to prove your guilt. Okay, you think you're guilty for something that you've done. So everything you do is to reiterate, yes, I'm guilty, I'm guilty, I'm guilty. Okay. And when in actuality, the opposite is true. Like it's actually proving that you're not. Okay. Whatever it is you think you did, and I don't mean like you as the individual person, okay? I mean you. Whatever it is you think you did, like you're actually not guilty, okay? And all, you know, so which goes for everything we do, whether it's eating or drugs or drinking or talking or, you know, driving your car, whatever. all of that is about, proving our guilt for what we think we did. Okay. And all the evidence is around us that what we think we did, we actually did do, right? Because stuff is separate. I'm not one anymore. I'm all separated in pieces. So that's where I am now, right? I'm really in the place where I can, and notice how many times I'm saying I as I talk, okay? That's stuff that I notice like that, right? I never noticed that before, ever. Now, every time I say I actually notice what I'm doing, and so everything as far as the guilt is concerned, right? Trying to prove that, trying to prove that I is true, because that I is not you, and it's not this other thing, and it's not the computer, right? So if I'm separate, and that's that one letter, that letter I, in everything we do, it's really there, or the feeling of I, right? The feeling that I'm not this and I'm not that, I'm right here. And I got the scariest, the most terrifying feeling. When I got that terrifying feeling that I was not true, it was crazy. My heart was going to just beat out of my chest. It was that scary, because if it's not that, then what the heck is going on here, right? But there came a point where I just had to see it. I just had to, I just had to accept it, I guess. I think it's basically what it is, right? I just had to accept it. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad, again, listen for the I. I'm glad I did. And hi, Melody. Hi, Eugene. So living without a witness, and I was talking to someone, right before this, it's like what a witness does is corroborates the story you're telling, or, validates what you saw. And, I got a witness that the sky is blue outside, or some crime happened. And, we have witnesses that can, to say that, hey, look, I'm telling the truth because I got witnesses here, Well, I found that a witness isn't needed. Okay, what I see and know and am and all that doesn't need to be witnessed or validated, or, proven to be true, or whatever the case is. And that, really seeing and knowing that has done several things for me as a mother, as a mother, all right. For those of you out there who have people that you care for, okay, and you use your paternal skills, whether you're a mom, a dad, or or someone else who's taking care of someone else, and that your paternal qualities come out. That was really tough, right? Because you can't just be a mom or a dad, right? You have to be a good one, right? A good mom and a good dad. Okay, so this new perspective as far as being a mother has really released me, and I think has helped me to take my claws off of my kids, and really allow them to express themselves, to be what and who they are, and for me not to use them. I actually had a conversation with my son the other night because I was asking him, just one of our regular conversations now, right? I was asking him, he's only 12. I said, if you didn't have your sense of sight, if you couldn't see anything, you didn't know what you looked like, what other people look like, I said, what is there anything that you would change? Anything you would change? And he said, well, not really. He said, maybe my weight. And I was like, well, why? You know, because he's a little robust. Okay, he is a little robust, but you know, he said he just wants to move faster, and you know, and all that stuff. You know, so you know, we talked a little bit. We talked a little bit about that. But I told him, um, I said, you really need to be able to decide how you're going to feel about yourself, you know, and not allow someone else to do that for you. Okay. Like, don't rely on, and I said, even me, okay, even if mom says, you know what, you know, you probably, you know, need to stop doing this, or you probably need to, you know, exercise more, or you know, or something like that, right? I said, you really need to be able to do that for yourself. Otherwise, because school, I mean, we know how bullies are, right? We know how children are, how adults are, okay? You know, but to really be able to see yourself for who you are first, and don't let how someone else feels about you decide that for you, you know. In the past, I wouldn't have said something like that. It would be like, I know what's good for you. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to eat. This is how you need to move. This, you know, all of that. Okay. Listen to your mom. She knows what she's talking about. Okay. But I'm not even like interested in that anymore. I'm really not. And I you know, I'm, I really believe, because now that I see, I have the freedom to choose, you know, and because I trust myself to choose. All right. um I can, you know, allow space for other people to do the same thing, because at the end of the day, one of the things I talked about in Firing God, right? Hi, Alan Cross. Is there a soul? Do we have a soul? Is there life after death? You see these questions? You know, I just said about questions, right? And questions that we ask, there's always something that we know for sure. Okay, so if you look at, if, you know, in Alan's questions, is there life after death, you know, for that type of thing. What we have to be able to do is, let me see, how do I say this? So to answer your question, Alan, real quick, is there life after death? I really can't, because because that assumes that there is, like, that death is true, like that's an actual factual 100% thing, you know, and that life is the same way, like, you know. So, you know, just like I said, how questions are really ways to solidify answers we already have, you know. What I will tell you is something that I think I said in the other one, and the last time I was on, is that, you know, what we have right now, and I tell my kids this as well, is what are you experiencing right now? Okay. And that's what there is. 5 minutes from now, that's going to be what there is. Okay. So, you know, just keep thinking like that, you know, and that's basically the answer to the question, you know, because like I said, it's living, trying to prevent myself from dying is where I was before. All right. So we're really trying to avoid a death that we are absolutely 100% sure of. But is it actually true? You know, is there a death? Igor, hi Igor. You said, when you say I, also say I and understand we are I am. You have a little finger pointing up there. Is there a soul? I don't even know what a soul is. Like, I really don't. I never knew what a soul was. I really didn't. Like, we talked about it all the time in church, and I never really knew what it was. You know, it was the same thing like the spirit. You know, I never really knew what that was, and they would say stuff like the Holy Spirit is in here, and I'm like, you know, like where? what like where is you know, the left or the right? Like where is this? You know, so I can't answer that question. You know, I really don't know what there is. You know, and I'm okay with admitting that. I really don't know. But what I do know is that I can still, see, I don't even know this. You know, I'm just able to be here here with you all right now. Okay, just here with you all right now. And I'm trying to, you know, find words to express this. It's kind of, do you have books that expand on this? I really like your honesty and clarity. Well, my book, I have two books, well, three actually. So there's Firing God, and then there's which talks about how, you know, I came to see all this stuff. And then there's Tales from Eternity, which is the book of, I kept a blog for like a year that I didn't share at all, of all the crazy things that were going on and that I was seeing and experiencing. I couldn't talk to anybody about it because it was nuts. And somebody's gonna put me away if I shared all that stuff. But that's called Tales from Eternity. And then I have a book called Longing to Learn, which is about how I actually forgot how to learn. You know, we know it when we're born, you know, how to just learn naturally, but I totally forgot how to do that, you know, because I got so used to authority telling me what to do and how to do various things. Now I wrote that book in relationship to work, you know, like work life and stuff like that. But it's the same stuff. It's really the same stuff. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, one of the things that really came out to me, a feeling, right, was that there was, and I'm talking about, you know, when I experienced all this stuff, the feeling that there was nothing to do. All right, I talk about that in Firing God. Feeling like there was nothing to do. Okay, and I'm really just sitting there like what now? You know, what now? I see that I'm already in eternity. You know, in eternity. You know, so I've been planning and not cursing and you know, and not, you know, not drinking and smoking and going to school dances. I've been wearing long skirts and you know, obeying my parents. You know, all the stuff you're supposed to do to make it to eternity. Because if you don't do it, you're gonna get to eternity, okay? But it's gonna be one full of torture. Okay, I didn't want that one. I wanted this one, the one with the milk and the honey and the mansions and the whatever else they got up there. Okay, that's what I wanted, and the singing and the praising the Lord and all that. Okay, I was doing all that to prepare, and now here I am, sitting at my desk at work, seeing that I'm already there. Now what? Like, what the hell do I do now? Like, that's really how it was. I felt like there was enough. And when I mean, listen, when I say nothing to do, I mean nothing. You hear me? Nothing FM. I mean nothing. See how your eyelashes, they, you know, they come up like this here when you do that. That's unnecessary. Okay. It's the hair, my hair grows, but I cut it real, all that growing and stuff, that you know, what you doing that for? You're already here, you know, like everything, thoughts that are coming up. Why? Like, what's the reason? You're here already, you're already at the finish line of the goal. You know, what are you trying to do? Okay. So with that nothing to do, you know, seeing that like it's already done, like, you know, I mean, you can do it. You can go ahead and be born, and you can crawl, or you can have a mom and jobs and, you know, successes, and you can cry and you can be disappointed. You can do all that, okay? You can do it, but you're not impacting anything because you're already here, you know? So seeing that, you know, has really, man, like it's allowed me to just wonder about so many different things, you know. It really has. It's a and I never wondered about stuff because it wasn't about wondering. I needed to be right at first. okay? Before I knew I was already here, I needed to be right, so all that other stuff was off the table. I had to be right so that I could, get to where I was going, so I can avoid death, okay? Because that's what was the thing that scared the hell out of everybody, That's what everybody's talking about, dying. So it must be real, right? Who asked that question again? Alan, that's what we all talk about. We talk about death. We do things before we die. We have bucket lists. I mean, because one day something is going to happen, okay? And I'm not going to be here anymore. And that must be death, okay? So let me tell you what else I've come to see. That seems to be the case, right? Like one day somebody is here and the next day they're just not, their body may still be there. And isn't that interesting? How the body is still there, but we say they're gone, okay? We say they're gone. Normally, if like my boyfriend just walked in, right? So he's here now, he's here. Yeah, like he's standing right here. Come here, boo, come say hi. This is my my nothing FM, my non-duality peeps. This is my boyfriend. So he's here, all right? But if he were to die and was still here, his body would be here, but he wouldn't be here. I would say, hey, he's gone. I'd have to call people, he passed, even though the body is still there. So, it's like what I've come to see, and we intuitively know this, whatever we call death, whatever that is, where we're here and then we're not, that doesn't kill us. Death does not kill us, okay? And we know this. We know this intuitively, right? We do. But we feel like because we've come to depend so much on, our senses and all this other stuff, we feel like if I can't sense it the way I used to, then it's not there. It's not real, So it was the nothing to do. And the other thing, the other major thing, right? Time was gone. It was gone. I didn't even know it could do that. Okay. The sense of time just wasn't there. Which was weird. I'm like, how can time not be here? Because if I felt like it was something that had always been there, but you know how it is, how you go nose blind, if you smell something, you just keep, you smell it all the time until you just don't smell it anymore. It's still there, but you don't smell it anymore because you've just gotten used to it. It takes somebody else coming in the room, like, what the hell is that smell? So time was the same way, I've been wrapped up and tangled up in the sense of time for so long. I thought it was just, natural or whatever. And you know what else, right? So y'all know I work in cybersecurity, at least those of you who have been here. Do you still believe in God? Hi, Sandra. Do you still believe in God? If not, what do you believe in? Sandra, by the way, your boyfriend looks fine. Oh, he is, Sandra. He really is. Do I still believe in God? Sandra Smither, let me tell you, I never did. Okay, I never did. And I wanted to believe. I really did. I wanted to believe because believing, and I talked about this in Firing God too, right? Believing, whether it's you believe in God, whether you believe in the patriots, you believe in your country, you believe, that your child will become a famous rapper or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Belief is a meal ticket. Any kind of belief, okay, is a meal ticket, right? Because this belief, if we can make it look like a ticket, I hand it to somebody and it's gonna get me something, okay? believing in God was going to get me in heaven. Okay. It was going to get me things, riches and stuff like, it's going to get me out of pain and turmoil here on earth if I prayed to him and all that, right? I had to turn in my belief ticket, to go ahead and get what I wanted, because that was my bridge to what I wanted, my belief ticket. Okay. If I could have gotten to heaven without believing in God, I'd have done that. Okay? But I wasn't taught that. I wasn't taught, okay, if you have options, okay, you got two options to get to heaven. You can either believe in God or you can believe in Zeus. Okay, they're both roads. So you decide what you want to do. So I said, let me see. I'll go with Zeus or whatever, or if God wasn't there, if it was another thing. And to get to heaven, you have to be able to, become a good craftsman. You have to, because Jesus did that, and all good craftsmen go to heaven. So, that was going to be what I was going to have to do, because that was my bridge. I couldn't get it by myself. Cheryl can't just walk up in heaven and be like, hey, y'all. No, that couldn't happen. Okay. Something else had to be there, and it was belief. It was belief that was there. So, Sandra, I never believed. And when I told the truth about that, like, that's really the thing that that started it all. It really did. Me saying I never believed, which was true. I never did. I mean, how could I? How could I? I don't know. If not, what do you believe in? I believe in a lot of things. I still have beliefs. I just know what they are now. Okay. I know what they are now. I know they're not 100% absolute truth. And I know that, Sandra, if you don't believe in the same things I do, that, you're less than me, or you're more than me, or, I mean, none of that goes, I just know what they are now. Okay. And I know that I'm not obligated to believe in whatever it is, that I believe. I believe I'm a human being. Do I know if that's absolutely 100% true? I don't know, but I believe it. I believe I'm a woman. I believe I'm Black. I believe, what else? I believe all kinds of stuff. All right. Alan, is there a purpose or a path? To where, Alan? Alan, did you hear me say we're already here? Is there a purpose in that? Where are you going on your path, Alan? You trying to go somewhere? I mean, you can go. You can have a purpose, absolutely. It's not going to get you anywhere, though. Sandra said, do you offer one-on-one? You're very relatable. Oh, thank you, Sandra. You know what? I do have a Patreon for my non-duality folks. And I believe it's on the website that, on the Nothing FM website. You can find a link to it there. Hi, Ness. How you doing? Glad you're here. And that's the key, right, y'all? So like I said before, like, I still get annoyed and angry, he upsets me no end, but I know that I'm not locked into that stuff, and vice versa. I know that I'm not locked into that, okay? I don't have to allow Alan Cross seems so hopeless. It does. In the beginning, it did, right? Because and Alan, right? I was mad. I was like, what you mean? I'm doing all this for what? I'm supposed to be proving myself worthy, and, and all, and listen at this one, okay? At the time this happened, I was getting a divorce. I hated my husband's guts. Do you hear me? I hated his guts. Not just him, his guts. I hated all of that. I hated it, okay? So now what I'm seeing is I'm already here, and guess who else is here with me? this thing over here that I hated, I couldn't stand. He was mean and nasty, and I just didn't like him. Okay. What do you mean he's here with me? Okay. He needs to be somewhere getting punished, you know, with a pitchfork up his behind. I mean, something. Okay. Because the way he's treated me, he does not deserve to be in eternity, not in a good one. Okay. But one of the things that I talk about in Sandra, are you transmitting something? I feel so relaxed listening to you. Oh, I don't know, Sandra. I don't know. But so in what's the name of the book again? What did I say? Tales from Eternity, right? I talk about this story, and I think, what's his name? The guy who does Zen Bitch Slap. What's his name again?
Paul Hederman.
Yeah, Hederman, right. He told a story, something like this, right? Where I think it was him, where you know, I'm trying to get into heaven, right? And I'm like, you know, God, this is Cheryl. I'm ready to come home. I'm ready to come. And God is like, well, you're not quite ready yet. Okay. So I was like, okay, so let me go back and do all this stuff. Let me be kind to kids, and let me stop kicking puppies, and, you know, all that. Let me do all good things. And then I do that for a while, and then I go back to God. God, I'm ready. I've done all these amazing things and all that. You know, well, you're not, you know, I can't let you in right now. You're not ready. I was like, okay, well, I got other stuff to do. Okay, let me do that. Let me go back. I'm selling my house. I'm giving it to the poor, you know, all the stuff holy people do. Okay, I'm doing all that. And I'm stopping just short of being nailed to a cross. I'm like, we're not going that far. Okay, so I go back to God, and he's like, okay. I said, God, I'm ready to come into heaven, Cheryl, you know, and I'm like, what else do I need to do? You know? And basically what he tells me, well, Cheryl, you can't get in by yourself. There is no Cheryl in heaven. You know, there are no individuals in heaven. In eternity, there are no individuals there. Okay. So that, you know, that helped me to realize I can't go by myself. Wherever I am, if I'm in hell, if I want him to go to hell, okay, I got to go too. Okay. We got to go together. You understand? Right. So eventually, I just came to say, you know what? He's just here, child. He's just here, just like I am. Just like I am. Alan Cross, you make hopeless sound so alive. And it really is, you know, it really is. Life without a witness, like living without a witness, without worrying about, you know, judgment, you know, which is, man, aren't we terrified of judgment, other people's judgment of us? That's the most terrifying thing. You would think the most terrifying thing would be like Bigfoot or you know, that thing that came from space, the aliens, you know, you would think that would be the most terrifying thing. But the most terrifying thing is what somebody thinks about us. Ain't that something? Hi, Melinda. So happy to see you spitting some mad wisdom. It makes sense, but it doesn't. There is some deep stuff happening here. Yeah, listen, Melinda, I can totally relate. Okay. One of the first people I was listening to, right, after all this stuff happened, was Osho. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? You know, I knew he was saying something, but I was like, what the world is going on here? You know, like, but eventually you figure it out. Eventually you figure it out, right? And the wonderful thing is, right, it's like everything I used to get myself in this, you know, wrapped in this little thing, you know, is the same stuff I use to unravel unravel myself from this whole web that I've created for myself, you know. And it's still not unraveled, you know. There's a lot of stuff that's still to be questioned, you know, because I feel like that's where it starts, right? With genuine questions. Genuine questions, not questions that are just trying to validate what you already know in the question. okay? I asked a question for work, right? My past job. I said, is evaluation necessary? I worked in training and evaluation, okay? And I was looking for a new way to evaluate. So I said, well, is evaluation even necessary? And even asking that question was frightening because I'm an evaluator. If evaluation isn't necessary, what does that mean about me? You know? So asking that question opened the opportunity that I would be canceled completely out, you know? But I had to ask it. How else am I going to be able to really get, honest answers? How else am I, if I'm too scared to actually ask the question, how is anything else gonna come? So I did that. I said, is evaluation necessary? That's like a doctor saying, is medicine necessary? Or think of some profession that you're in. Okay. Is that necessary? you know, is YouTube necessary? Like, do we really need to be on here? You know what I'm saying? But what happened is when I asked the question, and I just left it alone. Okay. I didn't go Googling a bunch of stuff and to the library and all that. I just left it alone. Just ask the damn question and leave it there. Okay. And be genuine. All right. Man, I got so much amazing stuff. Y'all wouldn't believe how beautiful this new evaluation model is. I'm telling you. Sandra, please do a weekly Zoom. I feel alive right now, like the lights have been turned on. What is happening to me? Well, actually, I have a YouTube channel, Sandra. It's called Life Without a Witness. I don't do it weekly. I could get on there a little bit more though. But if you want to see more, have more discussions, you can actually subscribe to Life Without a Witness on YouTube, and we can do it there. What was I saying before? Something else I noticed too. My memory has gotten so bad. I'm telling you, I can't remember. If somebody comes to me with a secret, like Cheryl, please don't tell anybody. They ain't got nothing to worry about. Nothing. Because I ain't gonna remember anyway. I'm not gonna remember. Seriously, it was just so crazy, but stuff still seems to come to me when I need it though. What was I saying though? Oh, I was talking about heaven and stuff, right? How you can't get in by yourself, And we just call it, like, I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what this is, but I do know when you, like, one thing I say in my email, I have my email signature, I say, 5 minutes ago, this was the future, okay? 5 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, 30 seconds ago, this was the future, okay? And you can, if you just examine stuff like that, like really sit down and just look at things. Forget about what you've been told, okay, and taught and all that. And just look. Like, seriously, it's really that simple. It's really that simple. When I say look, I'm not just talking about with these eyes, okay? Use all the senses you have at your disposal to look, right? Something that I absolutely love about that weird book, Course in Miracles, something they say in there that I will never forget. I forget everything else, but I don't think I'm gonna ever forget this. Like towards the end or somewhere in the middle, something like that. It said something like, forget this book, or forget these words. Or essentially, you've read all this stuff, not forget it, okay? I'm like, man, that was, I couldn't imagine something like that being in the Bible. Okay, forget this book. Can you imagine? No, because, when you have, Melinda, I love seeing a Black woman representing, makes me feel that it can happen to me. Can you teach me to get where you are? Melinda, can you teach me to get where you are? Is that something that you can do? And where are you, by the way? Okay. because I don't know where I am. I couldn't. And listen, my boyfriend will tell you right now, directions are not my bailiwick. Listen, I can't teach nobody to get anywhere. Cheryl has no sense of direction. What was I saying, y'all? See, I forget things that fast. This is so crazy. But what was I saying? Somebody remind me what I was talking about. Babe, can you give me some water? I'm like super thirsty. Eugene. Hi, Eugene. Can't get into heaven. I was still talking about can't get into heaven. Because there's nowhere to go. I mean, heaven, what? You know, like what? Lost in space. Did I talk about this last time? Lost in space. That's another thing. Paul Hederman. Oh yeah, that was his story. Yeah, or story, something like what he told, right? I wrote a story called called Lost in Space, right? Where I looked at, if any of you have old pictures at home, like pictures with your grandparents or a friend or something, you know, back in the day, okay, or even if you can remember, you know, playing outside or something, whatever you're doing back in the day. I saw a picture that I'd taken, or somebody had taken with me and like some of my cousins and stuff. We were outside my grandfather's house in Louisiana. And I wondered if I go back to this place. Now, all of us, we've grown up. I look nothing like I looked in that picture. You know, some of my cousins are even here anymore. You know, they've passed on who were in that picture. You know, and none of us look the same. The car that was in that picture is long gone. I mean, rusty and, you know, probably disintegrating into nothing by now, okay? But I said, if I go back to that same spot where that person took that picture, what's the space in that spot like? Like the space. You see how we got space around us? I said, what's that space gonna be? Is it gonna be old? Like, you know, 40 something years older than it? Am I gonna see wrinkles in the, no, it's not. It's going to be brand new. Look at the space around you right now. Brand new. Time has nothing to do with it. There's no aging. I mean, nothing. It's fresh and new. All the time. Okay. All the time, you know. So I started wondering, like, so what the hell is this? You know, it can't be what we think it is. All right. Because nothing, it's 100% vulnerable, like anything can happen. Anything can happen in the space. You know, it's not stopping anything. It's not starting anything. I mean, it's just anything can happen, okay? And then it doesn't age or get old, you know? And I tell my kids, like the same space that you have here in front of you, that is the same space on Jupiter, okay? Or Pluto, whatever, it's the same space. You know, it's no different, you know? Where are we going? Like, wherever you are, you're there already, you know. Now we have all these concepts and stuff to make stuff fun. Otherwise it'd be boring as hell, wouldn't it? You know, we make things fun and, you know, we create stuff, all those things, you know, but having a perspective where you see anything I do, I'm neither, it doesn't make me more or less, you know, I'm neither diminished or increased by it, okay? That right there just gives so much freedom, you know? So much freedom. Ooh, this is sparkling water. Mhm. It just gives a lot of freedom to finally, you know, stop living to avoid death. You know, that's just, man, that's exhausting. Sandra Smithers, Emerson, listen to what Sandra said. This is the best thing that ever happened to Nothing FM. You got that, Emerson?
I got that.
Melinda, yes, it's
totally, Sandra.
But without the fear of a God saying that you are not supposed to be here. Yeah, I mean, humans, we are something else. We really are. We're very creative, imaginative, all of that stuff. We can be as cruel can be. And then the exact opposite, like the nicest, the kindest, the most, amazing, all of that stuff. We're the whole spectrum we fall on, right? So, but maybe we're not, again, what we think we are. That's another thing that needs to be questioned. Maybe we can do something different. Maybe we can be something different. Okay. Which again won't make a difference, which is the thing that actually makes it so amazing. I think, you know, that, we can do all of that and it won't make a difference. If that's, Cheryl.
I think Eugene has his hand up.
Who's that? Oh, Eugene. Hi, Eugene.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, that's great. I don't know if I should bring the subject up. I might even get kicked off. It's a sensitive subject.
Mm-hmm.
Since I wanted to bring up race, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Most of the non-duality speakers are white men, and I keep thinking, white men, what do they have to encounter in society? They're the cream of the crop. They have all the privileges, that there are in the world. So they can be whatever they want. They can even be nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, what difficulties do they have in everyday life?
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's unfair. I don't have a picture of myself. But, I'm not of the white.
Show yourself.
I don't have a camera. So
no worries, I'm just joking.
But anyway, I'm just I'm just thinking, how do the labels of other people affect you in everyday life? I mean, it's great when I'm sitting in front of this computer screen and listening to non-duality. But when I go outside, they say, oh, that fat kid, or, oh, they put you, oh, I want to get a job. And they're thinking, you can sometimes tell in their face, we can't hire this person. He really doesn't fit in this group.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you get paranoid. You don't know if someone's aggressive towards you because of the color of your skin, or because of, I don't know, your sexual orientation, or
Yeah.
I don't want to bring this thing down, but I just want to bring that out because it's a problem for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that's a problem because I still think that there is a me.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you can address that if you want. Or
all right.
Fine.
So I'll thank you for that question, Eugene. So first of all, there's another story that I wrote in Tales from Eternity called Game Over. Okay, where I talk about how a game over is not true as long as there's somebody to play. Okay. You get to the end of the game, you lose in checkers or whatever, and it's game over, but it isn't, okay? Because if somebody else wants to play, you can just start to play it again, okay? And so we have here in our various societies and stuff, things that are comparable to games, that we play. We need labels, right? Words, language in itself helps us control stuff. If I don't have a name for something, it's hard for me to control it. Okay. It's hard for me to manipulate it on the board or whatever. Okay. So we do have our labels, and the labels are fine. They're absolutely fine. However, what we need to realize, there's two things, right? Is that when it comes to, and it's really interesting that you're asking this because I'm addressing something like this in cybersecurity too.
Okay.
Is that, and artificial intelligence, right? Because when we look at technology, okay, and we look at the people who have created the things that we use today, the Microsofts and the Apples and you know, and all those people, the people who started it up way back when in various schools and, you know, universities and all that, right? And that's a very homogenous group of people. You know, white men started a lot of that, okay? And, you know, when they started it, AI was like about, if the computer can beat you at a game, that means it's intelligent, okay? That's what we called intelligence. So we've built what we believe about AI and technology and all this on the very narrow minds of one homogenous group, white men, okay? And we take that for gospel and we've run with it, okay? Like, you know, and so the thing about that is all of us, first of all, even the white men, okay, or white people in general, every label is a limit, okay? We living down to whiteness is not what we should be doing. You know, we should see that that's not our only alternative, to live down to that label, okay? To live down to Black, you know, to live, and that's really what it is. Because like I said in the beginning, we're trying to escape from something. Like, it's like, you know, we're all separate, we're all over here and over there, all over the place, right? So every label in itself is not true. And then when we take it as such and we try to be that thing, what we need to realize is we're trying to diminish ourselves to fit into white, to fit into Black, to fit into human, you know, and all that, which is why questions are so important, you know, to question what is absolutely 100% true, okay? I said, I believe I'm Black, okay? And I said that because I know that's not true. I believe it though, because there are things that you get with believing you're Black, believing you're white, you know, believing all these various things. Now we still, because we're playing the game, okay? Okay, there's things that we have to navigate, okay? There are like this verdict that just came down from the guy who had his knee on George Floyd's neck, okay? He just got sentenced to jail, you know, for
Which
killing
is
a man,
revolutionary.
you know?
It hasn't been, this hasn't been that way for centuries. This was
Yeah.
the first time that anything's really ever happened. I mean, it's structurally, I think when we say it's whether we're Black or another race, it's okay in the confines of our home. But as soon as we go out, I mean, I living in a white society, I didn't notice it as a kid until the outside environment made me feel that I was different. It didn't come from, oh, I think I'm different than these kids who I'm playing with.
And and that's normally how it works, right? And I think that James Baldwin, whom I love, I wish I could have met him, you know, he said it the best. I love the way how he puts it. There's a video, I think it might still be on Netflix, called I Am Not Your Negro, right? And he did an interview with somebody where he was talking about how, you know, when people call him a nigger, he's like, I don't even know what that is. He said, if you're afraid of a nigger, you made that up. He's like, you have to deal with that. You can't look to me to fix that issue for you, because that's not who I am. You made that label up for your own purposes. And if you want to be able to get over it, if you want to be able to live a better life or do whatever you feel like you need to do, you know, and this nigger is getting in your way, you have to deal with that because you made it up, you know. And that's the same for all of us. That's the same for all of us. These labels that we put on things and people and stuff like that, right? why is that label there? Why is belief in that label needed? What are we trying to get on the other side of nigger? What are we trying to get on the other side of white supremacists? You know, what are we trying to get? And, you know, as a human family, you know, in playing this game, we can elevate the game if we want to. We can do that. We can
Which I
elevate
think
the
is
game.
happening now.
Yeah, we
After,
can do
after,
that.
after the George Floyd
Yeah,
conviction.
we can
But-
make the game something totally different.
Right.
You know, let me
It
see.
is a problem. Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're good. Let me read these couple more. We got like 6 minutes left.
Okay.
Let's see. Melinda, did I read your thing, Melinda? Yes. Alan, I agree. So deep and profound, yet easy to understand and follow. Theory, is that how you say that? Melinda, beautiful talk. Can you and Emerson have an interview about race and non-duality? Emerson, I think Emerson wanted to do something like that, or you're working on it or something like that. I know we talked about it, Emerson.
We talked about it. We actually had a conversation. Remember the question that I asked you when we were talking about this? I think I shared that when I was seeking, do only white people get enlightened?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
When I was seeking, yeah. So I had to look for someone of, person of color. And then I was like, yes, there's an opportunity, there's a chance. But I just wanted to comment on that one because you felt that way too, right?
I did. And even in Firing God, I wrote in the book, you will read, I say, where are all the Black people? I actually asked that question. I said, we can't get a break. We can't even be with the oneness. Where are all the Blacks? I don't understand. But you're right, Melinda. I think that would be a very good conversation, a very, very good conversation.
Yeah, let's do that. We should do that. I think that would be fun. It is quite, it's how do you say it? It's not funny, but it's frustrating when you don't see representation.
It is.
That's why I show my brown face all the time,
right?
Because in the beginning.
Yes, and it propagates, right? Just like how I was just talking about AI a minute ago. There's a really great documentary on Netflix called Coded Race or something like that. But
I
it's
saw
talking
that
about
one.
the facial. Yeah, did you see it? Right.
Yeah,
it's talking about the facial recognition. Okay. And how this lady, she was doing a project that required facial recognition software, and it couldn't see her face. She was like my complexion, maybe a little darker. She had to put on a white mask in order for the thing to see her face, because coded bias, that's what it's called. Bias is embedded. Our biases are embedded in the things we produce. They just are, even if we're not aware of it. Eugene, you're not dragging down the conversation. I really appreciate you bringing it up. Yeah, no problem. Okay, I got about 3 minutes left. Does anybody have any other questions or anything that they would like to ask, or comments? Even if you don't have a question, you can make a comment if you want to. Or requests. Take requests. If there's something you want me to talk about next time. Melinda says, do a weekly. Anything from anybody else? I really doing these talks like this is good for me too, because I love talking, and I love talking about this. Okay, I do. I love talking about this, and I love just bringing every day into it, because one of my main questions was like, okay, so what? We're all one. I'm in eternity. I'm at the finish line. So what? Are all my bills gonna go away? Like, what's gonna happen? Nothing. You should be having right here. Thank you. Oh, Sandra, thank you for being here, Sandra. So just talking about, how I'm able to navigate this game board, with this perspective. is, it's fun and it's refreshing, and it's, I learn something like all the time. I'm seeing different things, trying to put words to it, because some stuff you just can't, there's no language for it. You just gotta roll with it. Ness, thanks for being here, Ness. One love, sister. Right back at you. Right back at you. Well, thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate every one of you being here, and I hope to see you next time. So thank you, Emerson, for this platform, and you all have an amazing month.
Thank you, Cheryl. That was fun. We'll see you next month, and then we'll do that interview. I think that's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Cheryl.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.